We are aware that some people are questioning, will my school be open? Will my parish be open? The answer to that is simply yes. Nothing will change.
Archbishop Aymond working to reassure the faithful as the New Orleans Archdiocese files for bankruptcy. Tonight, the Archbishop tells Eyewitness News why it was necessary to take the legal action. Good evening, I'm Karen Swenson. Archbishop Aymond said they voluntarily filed for bankruptcy because, in his words, it's the right thing to do and allows the ministry of the Catholic Church in New Orleans to continue without interruption. But Paul Murphy reports it's also a legal move to address the mounting cost of unresolved clergy abuse lawsuits.
The financial strain of clergy abuse lawsuits and the coronavirus-related shutdown of church services forced the Archdiocese of New Orleans to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Archbishop Gregory Aymond told Eyewitness News the voluntary bankruptcy only affects the archdiocesan administrative offices.
Nothing will change in our parishes. Nothing will change in our schools. They will all be open and continuing the normal ministry that they have been doing.
Aymond said bankruptcy would allow the church to reorganize and to be more efficient and more effective.
There are times, for many years now, we have gone over budget. We can no longer do that, and we should not have been doing it then.
The Archbishop admits the Archdiocese simply cannot afford the costly litigation of mounting clergy sex abuse claims. With the bankruptcy filing, all of the pending lawsuits and mediation requests from victims and survivors are stayed in state court. The cases are now expected to be decided by a federal bankruptcy judge.
It could be that some would be helped and some would not be helped. And so this way we believe that we can treat all of them equally and fairly.
According to bankruptcy documents, the church has between $100 million and $500 million in both assets and liabilities. Vicar General of Finance Father Patrick Carr expects the Archdiocese to emerge from bankruptcy in a year to a year and a half.
What we're telling our creditors is they will be 100% paid. We will pay all of our bills.
After Hurricane Katrina, the Archdiocese reorganized in a move that shuttered dozens of churches and merged church parishes across the metro area. Archbishop Aymond assured us that that is not expected to happen this time around. At the Archdiocesan headquarters in New Orleans, Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
We'll take a closer look at the Archdiocese finances and how the Archbishop is feeling after battling COVID-19 himself. That's coming up new at 6. Well, this is not the first time an Archdiocese has filed for bankruptcy. According to bishopaccountability.org, a group that tracks wrongdoing in the church, there have been at least 26 dioceses and religious orders across the U.S. that have filed for bankruptcy protection. The most recent was the Diocese of Buffalo, where just days ago, 23 priests credibly accused of abuse lost their pay and benefits. The president of bishopaccountability.org says it could be more than money that survivors of clergy abuse want.
There'll be a lot of focus on other resources that the diocese has, including their archives.
Well, he says that's where files of clergy abuse are kept under lock and key. Coming up at 6, Danny Monteverde takes a look at what other dioceses have faced during bankruptcy and what it could mean for the Archdiocese of New Orleans.